What did you make of John Kasich? If we can switch from Trump to our to our guest today, he's kind of a happy warrior out there bouncing around the campaign trail.
He is. The happy warrior is a phrase that Franklin Roosevelt used on Al Smith, trying to capture some of his magic on the trail. I think Kasich is looking good in New Hampshire. I interviewed him this week. He was, of course, very bullish, but he made a big point that he made partly today. He said, my background is so conservative in terms of spending and taxing and trying to balance budgets and turning around Ohio's credit rating. That's all conservative. He said, but he said to me, you well know, this is a man who has a real heart for certain issues that vibrate among Americans. One is what to do with the young mentally ill. The other is what to do about those addicted to drugs. He has an unembarrassed heart in his approach to those questions, and I think it's going to have some power.
The establishment wing of the party is going to have to settle on one or two people by March 1st. And I think today, if you look at, again, the four people the establishment talk about, leave Governor Christie aside, Kasich, Bush, Walker, Rubio. The one who right now is a rising stock, the one who has got the least obvious blemishes in terms of momentum is Kasich, but no one's gone after him yet. Even Trump hasn't gone after him yet.
I'll add to that. I think there's a sweet spot for a Republican presidential candidate. And it's basically, I want to cut your taxes, I don't want to stick it to anyone. And I think Kasich hits that perfectly. He wants to be responsible. He wants to give your money back. He also wants to make sure low-income people can get health care. He wants to make sure the mentally ill can get care. He wants to make sure people in prison can get out and get back to their lives. And that's a combination that is very potent. It's George W. Bush's combination. It's to an extent Ronald Reagan's combination. It's the kind of approach that really does appeal to a wide section of Americans and people who may not even think of voting for Republicans in the first place.
I find him to be right now the most Reagan-esque of the candidates. He's aspirational, he's electable, and he's ideological but pragmatic. But I really want to see what happens when Mike Murphy and the Bush pack unloads on him on Obamacare in New Hampshire.
And not to take anything away from what Ron said about him and others have said, he's the media's favorite candidate, and that is a dirty little secret that it is a big benefit. George Bush was the media's favorite candidate in 2000. McCain was for a time. When you're the media's favorite candidate, you do well.
And any Republican
Even today, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Does Kasich have money?
Yeah.
How's his fundraising going?
No, he's still doing okay with his normal fundraising, but like every candidate these days, pretty substantial when it comes to a super PAC.
Robert, who else, if Kasich is on the rise, who is on the fall or who has been blotted out by the change in the landscape since the debate?
Well, the hardest thing right now in the Republican field of 17 is if you're on the right side of the party. If you're Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, even Ben Carson, who's still an outsider and popular, the Trump phenomenon has taken all that political oxygen out of the room. And I think you see a lot of them trying to cozy up to Trump, come to Trump voters, hope they eventually fall their way. But still, it's impossible to get attention if you don't have the swagger of Trump, if you don't have that humanity of Trump that just comes through in this unbridled enthusiasm he has in every event.
Don't underestimate Cruz's money. Cruz is raising a big super PAC money, and don't underestimate his early state and long-term strategy. Very few of the candidates are thinking about both the first four states and down the road.
And real quick, something on Cruz, you're so right. Know what the Cruz people think is their moment? This potential government shutdown this fall. Remember, that was Cruz. That's how he became a national star in 2013. If the Republicans in the House try to shut down the government over Planned Parenthood and Cruz leads that fight, they think they can see a resurgence.
All right. Well, we're going to be back in a minute. We'll talk about some Democrats. Stay with us all. We'll be back in a moment.